Hi, it's Lethea from Farmview Creators. Today we're going to work on this porch leaner kit from the Rust Covered Cottage by Christina. It is the Be My Valentine set. So I went ahead and took my North Pole board and flipped it over, did 2 layers with a sponge roller of French putty, and now I'm just checking out all my pieces, trying to figure out which ones I want to paint, which colors. So now I'm just categorizing them on my sticky board. And I'm going to do my Vera at the Ballet hearts first because I knew that I wanted to stencil on this one. I've gotten to where anytime I have just a larger plain shape, I love putting a stencil on top of it. So I'm going to use 2 Echo Park 6x6 stencils for this, but I want to make sure that I got 2 coats of Vera at the Ballet on there and that they were well dry before I went in. And now I'm going to use Lovestruck. I was waffling between Lovestruck and Mulberry, but I went with Lovestruck. It is a Luxe Metallic, and it has the most beautiful shimmer of any of the colors I've used. It's almost like it's a gold shimmer, whereas a lot of shimmers, in my experience, they kind of have like a silvery white glitter sheen. This one is gold, and it is so gorgeous. So I'm going to do 2 coats of both of those colors, and then I'm going to let them dry for a good while before I go in and stencil. I like to paint with the grain of the wood. And the first coat, I try to go really thin and a little more thick on that second coat. Look at that shimmer. Oh, I just love it. So I am going to create a little more sticky area, and then I'm going to use a makeup wedge to put that same Lovestruck on the Valentine word. Anytime I have words, I, in general, don't like to use a brush because I feel like a lot of paint gets wasted and gooped up in all the nooks and crannies of the letters. So I'm using makeup sponges. You can use them multiple times just by rinsing them out, and then if you get a crusty end, just clip it off and keep using it until you run out of sponge. On the Be Mine, I am using Mystic Gray, which is a really dark, rich gray. On the flower pot, I'm using British Gray. All of these colors are from Paint Couture, and they are the mineral acrylic paints. For the white, I decided to go with Angelic. And I am doing 2 coats of all of those. I think I did 3 coats of the Angelic. Sometimes with the whites, you have to hit them a little more. And then I used a weeding tool to just kind of get out any buildup in those crevices. Going back and getting the arrow and setting all of those aside to dry. And we're going to go back to our Vera at the Ballet pieces. So I'm going to get all the others out of the way, and then it's time to stencil. I'm going to use the Lovestruck, and I have the Heart Scatter stencil. I'm going to use a foam brush to dab up and down, and I'm trying to hold the stencil as close to the wood as possible. It wanted to kind of lift up when I pulled the sponge dauber up. I also dabbed off so that it was not so thick. I still had some bleeding, but I don't mind it. And then I'm going to use the, I can't remember, Loads of Love dots, I think, something like that. And I did have to kind of layer that up, but it was really easy to line it up with those dots and get that done. Again, I still had a little bit of bleeding, but I'm okay with that because from a distance, nobody's going to see it. I'm using my Posca pen in white just to add a little bit of detail to those non-stenciled pieces, and then going in with my favorite dark wax. This is Debi's DIY dark wax, and I'm going to go around the edges of a lot of the pieces, not all of them this time, but quite a few. And I'm using the largest stenciling brush from Essential Stencils to apply my wax. And then you know I love dead flat. So I'm going to put a thin layer of dead flat top coat across all the pieces. It does not take the shimmer out of the Lovestruck, but on all the other pieces, it makes them really nice and matte, which I like the contrast of the glitter shimmer in the Luxe Metallics and the matte of the other colors. So I am being very careful when I pull up that Valentine piece because it was fairly large and it was new sticky tape, and I did not want to break my wood. So just be mindful of that. Whenever you have letters, you want to kind of be gentle when you're pulling it up from your sticky board. Getting all the layered pieces together and then getting everything out of the way so I can get my board up on my desk. I have a corner desk and it is not the largest, but it's in our living room, dining room open area because I do not have a craft room at this point in my life. I have 2 teenage boys and they need their own space. So I just craft where I can, and I'm just building the layers of the hearts up. I'm pressing firmly, and then I put my dead flat on top of it just to kind of give it a little more weight there to make sure that they are adhering properly. And I'm using my art glitter glue, and I'm using the very last of it, so I'm going to have to refill my bottle. I love art glitter glue because it has really strong bond, but it gives you a little wiggle room. Like those letters, I could have wiggled them around for a little bit, and then it doesn't make my fingers crusty, which is major for me. So I'm going to go in with some old Stampin' Up ribbon. I am 100% sure that they are retired, and I am making bows. I had a bow with the black stripe, but I just did not like it. So I decided to use it just as, you know, a background tail. And then I'm using some of the jute that Christina wraps her packages with to kind of wind around the center and basically cover up the knots. And then I'm putting that over the stem with my staple gun, just zhuzhing it up, making it look like I want. And there you have it. I love this porch leaner, and look at that shimmer. I mean, seriously, is it not gorgeous? Love it, love it, love it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.